So thanks for tuning in. Just a quick update that the full episodes of the Rant Cafe podcast can be found for free on Spotify, which is linked in the description below. But for now, let's just jump into the meat and potatoes of this highlight.
With us tonight, we have a very special guest from the internets. It's Projekt Melody.
Holy shit! What's happening?
Yo, Mel, good to have you back.
Dude, I've been
having...
Huh?
Been far too long.
Since I was last on, I've been having violent nightmares every single night, thinking, when will I return? And I've had withdrawals and just waiting for the opportunity to come crawling back. Oh, thanks for having me.
It's great to hear. I think Charlie also, he was on recently. He also has been having violent nightmares.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And of course, we got Nux and Briggs in the house.
Nux and
Briggs in the house.
No.
In the house, baby. In the house. This is going to be a very fun episode because after we roasted all each other's anime tastes and then also Charlie's, we decided that Projekt Melody's anime taste should be roasted next. And this will be interesting because Projekt Melody's an AI, so you would think that her taste is like calculated to be the best possible taste out there. So we'll see. We'll test that. We'll put it to the test here today.
Well, it makes sense with the first one, Evangelion. If you're going off of AI technology, everyone praising Eva in every video, overanalyzing it, it makes sense for it to be on our top 20.
What is overanalyzing, Briggs?
Overanalyzing is seeing things that aren't there.
If you can argue they're there, they're there.
And then if the creator says, "Hey, they're not there," you're full of shit. Then you don't know what you're doing.
Dude, it doesn't matter what the creator intended.
There's this one scene in BoJack Horseman.
Did you say it doesn't matter what the creator intended?
Yes, he says that all the time. This isn't news. This is anime.
So
anyway, hold on.
How is it done?
Can I please tell you a scene that happened in BoJack Horseman?
Yes, you can.
There was a scene that happened in BoJack Horseman where BoJack was talking about an experience he had with a fan. That the fan came to him and said that they saw that there was this one episode where someone had a really bad experience. The one episode of the TV show that BoJack Horseman was working on, because he's an actor, where in that episode, from one angle, there was a coffee cup on the table, and from the other angle, there was no coffee cup on the table. And they were saying that that's just like because the two people that were talking, whenever the camera shifted angles, every time the camera shifted, it was from a different person's perspective. And that's what memories are all about. Two people could remember the same thing, but have completely different experiences. And that was the symbolism behind whether the coffee cup was there or not in the shot. And BoJack felt bad because no, in reality, they just forgot a coffee cup on the table for the shot. And so he told the fan, that's exactly right.
Yeah. But that's the thing about art.
I love that scene.
So
it's so good.
That is the thing about art, though. If people can get profound messages out of it, even if the author didn't intend it, then that's okay. Because, I mean, if an artist draws a painting and someone enjoys it because it, speaks something to them about their own past childhood or something, and the author had no way of knowing their childhood, that doesn't mean that they can't enjoy it because the author didn't intend it. And the same goes for written works and anime and etc.
I think everyone could have their own personal relationship with the series and connect with it differently. And I also think that sometimes an author's may be influenced from certain things and take things from some other things that he's experienced throughout his life, and then he may have not intended it to have that symbolism, but it clearly did. But then there's also things where people are overreaching, and oh yes, the coffee cup example is a good one where you're overreaching. It's like, no, you're just wrong. That does not exist. You're
like
wrong.
I said, if you depends how you make the argument. If you make the argument in a way that just doesn't make sense within the context of the story, then you're right. But if the argument does make sense, even if the author didn't think of it that way, it could still be legitimate.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on.
BoJack.
Yeah, BoJack's great. I just actually rewatched a lot of it. It is a really good show.
Yeah, I've watched it through probably 5 or 6 times. So
damn, really?
Damn.
Yeah, it's one of my absolute favorite shows, and it fucking goes there.
Yeah, it's actually fantastic, I have to say.
So speaking of arguments before, I do want to ask Mel what she likes about Ava.
I really like the screaming.
Yes.
I also like it's just very realistic, especially with Shinji. It's like if you were going through all of this, like, okay, let me think. I like how realistic it is, especially with
You
Shinji when
like that
he's just on
Shinji's
the.
a bitch because it's realistic. Most people in that situation, not saying myself, would act that way.
I hate that because he's not a bitch. He's 14. He's 14 and is watching everyone die and is also causing it sometimes. And his mom is dead. His dad's neglectful. He's horny. It's
Wait, are we talking about BoJack Horseman?
no, Shinji, sorry. I don't think he's a bitch because he's doing more than I think most people. 99% of people have the strength to do, especially at 14. When he's completely broken and just lying on the ground and he has to be dragged, it's just like his levels of depression and his reaction to things are so realistic, and
Wait,
I
is
love
this
that.
BoJack Horseman we're talking about, or Evangelion? What?
Evangelion.
No, I mean the thing about Evangelion that I really like, everything Mel says is true, but I still don't necessarily like Shinji as a character because he is bitchy and annoying, even though it makes sense within the context for sure. But what I love about Evangelion is the plot. I feel like the plot is interesting and also the philosophy behind it. So I find that I can appreciate anime with a good plot and philosophy, even if I don't necessarily love the characters. Whereas I feel like a character-centric person like Briggs needs to be able to love the characters in order to enjoy the anime.
1000%. The story could be amazing, but if I don't like the characters, it's like I can't pay attention.
So for me, the issue with Evangelion is I don't love the characters, aside from Asuka, who I think is awesome.
The ending was crap.
Oh god, the ending was so bad. But if you include the movie, then the ending was good.
Guess what? I didn't watch the movie. I didn't know the movie existed.
Yeah, he didn't see the end of Evangelion, Mel.
This is
What
before.
is happening?
This is
But
before
I don't think
got
the
into
plot-
the
I
anime
think-
community. I was like, oh, it's rated highly on Mal. Cool, I'll watch it. I'm like, wow, that fucking sucked, and then just never thought about it again until I started making content.
It's rated highly on Mal and Mel.
And Mel.
I was just gonna say, do you mean my enemy list? Thank you. I do rate it highly. I do.
Look,
Yeah,
I
like,
think it's
I-
a good show also, but it would not make my top 20.
I was honestly floored, but like literally, I sat down on the floor and just kind of like thought about it for a second after I finished watching the movie because I loved the social commentary and the philosophy behind it and how this, crazy futuristic post-apocalyptic world was actually speaking about our own society, or rather Japanese society in the present. And yeah, I just really, really loved how much thought went into it and stuff.
Okay, so what ends up happening here, Mel, is we're actually going to rank your top 25 or 27 here. So, Nuxie Boy, what do you think? Where would you rank Ava? S, A, B, C?
So you have 27 here. So we'll do... No problem. So we'll do 5 in each of these ranks. We'll have 5 S tier, 5 A tier, 5 B tier, 5 C tier, 5 D tier, and then 2 wild cards that we can add to whatever rank.
Okay.
Sounds good? So
Yes.
I didn't pay attention to the rest of the list on purpose because I wanted there to be some thought now. I didn't want to think about it beforehand. I'm going to say B tier.
I think B is very fair. That's what I was going to say as well.
You guys are both scum. I would say S, Mel.
Thank
So
you.
does that bring it up to A, Nux, or how's that work?
Nope, that's B tier
That's
because
B,
we
it is?
got
Alright.
2 votes.
I really thought I was going to be B, Nux was going to be A, and then Mac was going to be S.
So
Let's go.
the funny thing is, so Mel, the way we normally do it is we all rank it this way, and then we'll have all 27 on the board, and then you order them as to your favorite.
Well, I'd probably give it S tier because it's Evangelion, so
Oh,
You
so,
know.
then so then it'll probably end up there by the time we're finished, but I guess for now. I'm really happy with your next pick, okay? Evangelion, Shmevangelion. Madoka Magica is where it's at. That is a fantastic anime. It would also make my top 20.
I can't
And
comment. I can't comment.
Animec and Briggs both haven't seen it because they're fake anime fans.
I watched 2
Have you
episodes
seen
and
it?
dropped it. I watched 2 episodes and dropped it.
I understand. I thought I was being host too, where I'm like, oh yay, magical girl, whatever the fuck, and then I'm like, oh good, they pulled a ReZero, good. Even Magica Record, like their spinoff, I love this series so much.
So
It's
I didn't
sad.
watch the spinoff. Did you see the movie sequel?
Yeah, I've seen everything.
I love that sequel. Oh my god. Honestly, Madoka Magica Rebellion is better than the end of Evangelion.
I haven't seen the movie. I have seen the series, but it was a while ago. It's not like my top 20, but I do think it's a solid A.
For me, it's a solid S.
So I almost want to watch Madoka Magica just to see if I'll be wrong about it, because apparently this is one of the few anime where it's like 3 episodes in, you need to give it 3 episodes, because on episode 3 it really changes and it gets better from episode 3 onwards. I could usually tell if a series is for me off of like the first 5 minutes of like an episode. Like I'm gonna like this or I'm not gonna like this, or at least the first episode. But apparently,
but there are series that kind of subvert that for sure.
I don't think there's been one for me. So this might be the
when
first.
you watch it the 4th time, like you're gonna be like, ah!
I bet you I won't like it, but I hope I do. I gotta give it a chance.
I mean, you liked K-On!, so...
Well, K-On!'s fantastic.
This is so different than K-On!
Yeah, it's not even in the same realm, I'd imagine, right?
Since I haven't seen K-On!, I assume it's exactly the same.
No, it's like the opposite. There's so no similarities.
K-On! Is the most slice of life anime I've ever watched, and it's so good.
The closest of slice of life I would get is probably Welcome to the NHK.
Oh, yeah. That's great, but that's like a twisted slice of life.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome to the NHK was amazing.
You mean twisted in the good way?
Well, it depends. Like, kind of insane.
It wasn't the happiest.
Nox, where are you putting Madoka?
I vote S tier. Animax said A.
I'm gonna put it in A because I could comment off of my 2 episodes.
Sounds good. Next, we have B stars.
Oh, before we move on, I just gotta remind everyone again, check us out on Spotify if you're not listening to us already on Spotify. And if you are listening on Spotify, click that follow button. We're at like 82,000. We're trying to hit 90K. And by the way, we haven't been saying this, but if you listen to us on Spotify, it's ad-free. Not only is it free, it's also ad-free. So basically, Spotify has been happy with how many people we've been bringing to the platform.
Wait, hold on. We have 90,000 followers on Spotify?
82, we're aiming for 90.
What? That's insane. I didn't realize we had that many people on Spotify. Thank you, everyone.
This is just Spotify. And yeah, so it's free, ad-free. Even if you don't have a premium account, our podcast is ad-free on Spotify for the time being because they've just been happy with how many people we've been bringing to the platform. So they haven't been showing ads or telling us to do any ads. So yeah, check us out there. It means a lot to us, and it's ad-free, and it's free.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you're interested in seeing the full episode of the Rant Cafe podcast, link is in the description to our Spotify, which is free, by the way. We very much appreciate all the support you guys give us. We also have a link in the description to our Patreon. Have yourselves the most wonderful evening, and remember to stay weird, fam.